Hi there, I'm Sam with Daily Fit. Today, I want to give you 10 foolproof tips to lose body fat and maintain it. And obviously, here are two are some clients I've been able to help and continue to help today. Understand this is not a comfortable feat. A lot of these things are going to be, vastly different than what you're currently doing, but there are changes necessary for you to make to actually see the results that you are looking for, which is an identity shift, which is uncomfortable, which is why again coaching is so beneficial. But I could go on for days talking about that. So here they are, the 10 things I want you to focus on. Okay. None of these have to be done immediately, but as long as you start working towards trying to perfect or get better at them, making them habit, making them consistent, not needing motivation in order to do them, then you're on the right track. So the first one is choose the correct deficit. Some people, a lot of people I've coached in the past, they think that they need to lose a lot of weight quickly. They'll just stop eating and working out more, right? Well, what you're doing is you're actually kind of throwing your body off like a lot. And the most important thing to worry about, or I guess be concerned about, is your thyroid. Your thyroid, your adrenals, these things that when you're stressed, you don't really realize it immediately, but later down the line, your body will start to be like, hey, bud, like, slow it down. Like you're beating yourself up. You're beating yourself into the ground. So I always say, try to find, what is your activity level? What is your weight, your height, your gender, all those things. And then if you can predict this or actually know this, your body fat percentage can also help. But you can plug this into a calculator, tdee.net. And then we just put all this information in, and it's going to spit out a number at you. That's your estimated amount of calories that you burn based off those numbers: height, weight, gender, activity, body fat percentage, all these things, right? So after doing that, you want to pick that number that it gives you based off your activity, subtract like 200 to 250 calories from that number. And that's where your deficit should start. Okay. Super duper important. You don't want to go much lower because then you'll lose your mind. And we don't want that. And it's also not sustainable. You want to fuel your body. You don't want to just keep taking away because eventually you'll have nothing left. Okay. That's number one. Focus on that. Number two, balancing activity and cardio, food intake. All this has to be balanced. Because again, if you're in too much of a deficit, for example, and you're working out twice a day, you're doing lots of cardio, lots of weightlifting, you need to make sure protein is the biggest thing, which we'll talk about a little bit here in a second. But that's the biggest thing, is making sure you're eating enough of carbohydrates, because again, they're not the enemy, and a little bit of fats as well for just nutrient, all that stuff, like getting nutrients moving around your body to your cells, all this stuff. So again, let's keep that in. You have to balance all of that, which takes planning, which a coach can also help you with that as well. Shameless plug. Number three, eating enough of each macro. Again, plan ahead. Sometimes what I've told clients to do in the past, if it seems overwhelming, what I want you to do is go a day before in your diary on MyFitnessPal or whatever app you're using and plug in what you're going to eat the very next day. What that does is it gets your mindset and it puts you a little bit of at ease of, okay, here's what I can add or take away, because you can also look at your macros, right? And if you're low in protein, carbs, fat, whatever, you can find other ways to maybe add into that next day that's going to help you hit those numbers on a consistent basis. You're going to learn what foods are what, which is super, super important to do. Number four, having a stable meal schedule. Making sure you're not, going 6, 7 hours, 8 hours without eating anything. You need to keep feeding your body. You need to keep fueling your body. That's huge. Number five, learning to bulk meal prep. This is super important. I do it. I try to make at least 4 to even 8 meals in one go, because then I have my lunch and dinner, especially, I don't have to think. I just like, oh, this is what I made. This is what I'll eat, right? You can do the same thing too. And also, a little added tip or bonus is if you have family and you want to prepare dinner every night, whatever, make it fun, right? Make it interesting. Invite them to help you, especially young kids. They love to help, right? So, and it's also, family building. Yeah, it's just, again, another bonus tip there. You don't have to be too restrictive. That's what I don't want. Number six, minimizing elaborate menu items. It doesn't have to be super duper fancy. Save that stuff when you go out on date night, right? Like, Just stick to what makes sense for you. If you're not a 5-star chef, try not to act like it, because you're just going to drive yourself crazy. Okay. Stick to what you enjoy eating, and then don't complicate it. That's the main takeaway there. Number 7, food on the run. Beef jerky, rice cakes, even protein bars. There's some good ones out there. Protein shakes, all those things. Cottage cheese is great. Greek yogurt is great. Those are my go-tos. If you have overnight oats, right? That's all those are really, really great options for on the go, for travel, right? And this one kind of leads into the next one. 8, prepare for restaurants and travel. So as a pertains to snacks, when you're traveling, have those snacks there. That way you're always fueling your body. You're not going a lot of hours without eating, because then once you eat, you're going to want to eat everything in sight, okay? Or eat more than you would if you would have stayed fed or fueled for that long duration of time. I hope that makes sense. But again, all these kind of run very similar, especially these last ones. So another thing too is restaurants. If you know you're going to a restaurant, and I do this as a coach, if a client tells me where they're going, I will actually look up the menu items and say, hey, this is based off your goals. These are probably the best options. I give you like 2 or 3. Which one of these sounds good? Green light. Okay. But you can do the same thing as well. Is if you know you're going to Red Lobster, first thing that came to my mind, don't ask. If you're going to like Red Lobster or something, like look up the menu, search it on MyFitnessPal because it's on there, right? And then you just go off that. Same thing that I would do for a client. Maintaining when it's too tough to diet. You want to be in a maintained state. You don't want to be in a deficit when it's too tough to diet. Intuitive eating is another way. So eat when you feel hungry. That's super duper important. If you're already stressed because life is pretty hard right now, you don't want to add more stress by eating less than your body technically needs to maintain. So I would suggest being on a maintenance type diet. And if you're still exercising, still doing all that, there's a very good chance that you'll still see a little bit of weight loss. Okay. Especially if you're looking to recomp, which is burn body fat and build muscle. Okay. Number 10, last one, keep junk out of the house. Okay. Now, if you've got kids, that can be really hard, especially young kids. And I've been there. But, the less junk you have, those temptations you have, especially later in the day, like close to bedtime, it's typically when people's cravings start to pop in, the less likely you're going to actually be able to ingest those foods, especially if you do live on your own and you have this goal of weight loss, building muscle, whatever it is. Don't buy it. Don't put it in the house, because then the temptations are not there anymore. Okay. So these are the 10 tips that I would focus on. Again, you don't have to be perfect day one, but try to get better each and every day. 1% better every single day. You're going to be successful. I appreciate you guys tuning in, checking this out, and I'll see you later.